Welcome. This is David Bowles, Human Meme. Today's topic, Rules of Love. Thus I have shunned the first fire for fear of burning, and drenched me in the sea where I am drowned. I feared to show my father Julia's letter, lest he should take exceptions to my love. And with the vantage of mine own excuse hath he accepted most against my love. Oh, how this spring of love resembleth the uncertain glory of an April day, which now shows all the beauty of the sun, and by, a cloud takes all away. William Shakespeare, Two Gentlemen of Verona, Act 1, Scene 3. Well, my human meme friend, welcome to the final installment in our 3-part human meme podcast episode arc series concerning the human condition. Part 1 of our series dealt with the rules of affection. Part 2 discussed the rules of attraction. And now, in this, Part 3, we discover together and inherit, always, the rules of love. Now, before we begin this latest examination of love, we need to reflect upon the fact that respect is the one common thread binding each of these 3 episode arcs into a tangible warp and woof. I remind you, respect is not earned. Respect is the default interaction between all human beings. Respect cannot be purchased or given. Respect is, in itself, the default stasis of every human interaction, whether we like it or not. Now, onward. Love, among any other truth or artifact, is the most confusing and the most vibrant of all human emotions. We love ourselves. We love our spouses. We love our tattoos. We love our animals. We love our children. We love the dirt in our boots. We love our cars. Oh yes, love is the universal lollipop offered to every animate and inanimate object that rules around us. A childhood friend of mine, brought up in a religious household, never paused to tell anyone who would listen that she loved everyone by default. Not because she wanted to, or because she felt love for other people, but rather because loving everyone unconditionally and without thought or emotion, it was required of her by her church, which always came across to me as a little bit creepy, because then she would quickly add that she also reserved the right to like and dislike anybody she wanted. And there we have it, the double-edged sword of the fakery of a universal ideal of love. Oh, sure, love everyone by default, but I reserve the right to still hate you, dislike you, anytime I want. So why do some people draw such a bright and unbeautiful line in the sand between loving and liking? I do not know, but I suppose, if I had to guess, my childhood friend's rationale had to do with God's directive, love one another. And then she added her own particular spice at the end, that she can also choose not to like you while also loving you. I guess that's the argument. And that does remind me of that old condescending religious canard. Love the sinner, hate the sin, which always seems to me to beg the response, well, I love the believer, hate the belief. But that idea doesn't always seem to go over quite as well. And speaking of as well, what about that other chestnut saying? I'll forgive, but not forget. Now, isn't that just as outrageous as I can love you, but not like you? If you are forgiving someone, you are also required to forget, right? It's all part of the same forgiveness process. That's the deal. You can't hold one against the other. You cannot love someone without liking them as well. It doesn't comport or compute. And so, my human meme friend, here we are, stuck in the middle of a love fest, stuck with no real definition about the intention and the true meaning of love. Well, what is it? What is this love? How do we react to the expression of love brought against us? Does love even have a meaning to us anymore, or to anyone around us? In our longing overexposure to be loved, instead of just loving someone without reciprocation, or even retaliation. This conversation reminds me of the old riddle Abraham Lincoln used to tell about a dog. And the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett, multi-billionaire, also likes to quote the same Abraham Lincoln riddle, and so I will now join them in riddling you. Abraham Lincoln used to ask this: if you call a dog's tail a leg, how many legs does the dog have? Well, the answer to Abraham Lincoln's riddle is, of course, 4. Yes, 4 legs, no matter what you decide to label the tail. And that's the lesson of that riddle. Just because we call something one thing, and not what it really is, doesn't mean that's the new reality. Labels matter. Definitions are truth. We cannot change a lie into a truth. We can say we love someone while punching them in the face with brutal dislike, right? Well, just because we proclaim a false fact, a phony loving, does not make it real. That's what Abraham Lincoln was trying to teach us all those years ago. Words matter. Definitions matter. The veil of truth is fragile and must not be disrupted by intentional deception. You can tell me the sky is raining while peeing on my foot. But the truth of the matter is this: I know what you're doing to me. And you're not wagging a tail, you're shaking a leg and urinating on my toes. Saying something doesn't make it so. We cannot change reality by suggestion or by relabeling. The truth matters. Facts change. But the truth does not change. The truth is always just that. No riddles need apply. We may say we love something, but the proof of the truth in the definition is in the subsequent action. We also cannot rely on a single source for the verification of love. We may be misguided in our belief that we are loved when we are not. Love is cheap. Actions are expensive. That emotional check and balance is important to a human life. We are not alone. We may be abandoned, but we are not alone. We can always find a live connection. If this is love, it does not mean it is so. Skepticism is important to the forward progress of the human condition. We respect by default, but we can also ask for proof. We can calculate the truth against the lie. We can know things without asking for a definition or a revelation. And so, my human meme friend, I ask you to be both extravagant and wary in your expression and acceptance of love. Make the love matter. Make the love vital. You know what love is, and so do I. So act upon it. Stop talking about it. Just do it without reservation or pause. You do not have to get love back to love. Make the love something more than just a word. Make the love a state of being that must be tended to, observed, and placed into relevant action that both cuts and binds both ways. And then, the love can sustain you and grow with you and change in all the radical right ways over time. Because that's the way love rules us, by reason and by doubt and by indisputable evidence. All true, all real, no riddles. Love is the proof we were here. We lived, we loved, we mattered to someone else. And now, to finish this third sense in our final series, I leave you with this William Shakespeare quote from Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 6. Amen, amen, but come what sorrow can, it cannot countervail the exchange of joy that one short minute gives me in her sight. Do thou but close our hands with holy words, then love-devouring death do what he dare. It is enough, I may but call her mine. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.